Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller, the podcast. I'm joined by Seth.
Hey, welcome, guys. Thanks for finding us on the internet.
Now, these shows originally aired on Brookings Radio, but now they're all here for your enjoyment. I hope you like it.
There you go. Sit back, enjoy the show, relax. Let us know if you want to see anything on future shows. As we said, this comes out live in the Brookings area, but enjoy this archive episode.
Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. In the beer world, the big boys keep getting bigger. The largest beer corporation in the world, AB InBev, the makers of Budweiser, continues to snatch up craft breweries around the country. Other huge conglomerates, including SAB Miller and Heineken, are also buying craft breweries. This is American Craft Beer Week, a fitting time to ponder its future in light of recent news. Seth Cook at Woodland Lakes Brewing in Brookings.
These are names that people, if they follow craft beer, have actually popped up probably in your news feed lately of some of the acquisitions and some of their...
Heineken now with Lagunitas, 100%.
100%. But AB InBev has continued to buy breweries up, and there is some points of contention about what that means to still be independent. And there's also individuals on the other side of it that can really appreciate the fact that some of these flavors and styles are becoming mainstream enough that they are interested, into big multinationals, kind of like a startup software company or a band. If a band signs a big label, all of a sudden is that music different?
He says one company or a few companies monopolizing a product is never a good thing.
Like any industry, if you have all of your products coming from a single source, that's bad news, whether it be steel or beer or cars or wherever. I mean, there's always the problem. It could arise problems if that's how it continues. But I guess that's the truth of it is sometimes that's how capitalism and that's how the world works, is that somebody makes a product, it gets bought by somebody else because people buy it and enjoy it. So I guess time will tell.
Among the brands on the shelf that are already owned by a major mega corporation or have a majority ownership, Goose Island, Widmer, Red Hook, Lagunitas, Leinenkugel's, Blue Moon, and many others, as well as numerous foreign brands.
You may see a lot of brands on the shelf, but where and who actually does that is sometimes quite confusing about, where it goes.
Among the European giants, Heineken, Carlsberg, and the parent company of Guinness, and AB InBev, the biggest in the world, is actually based in Belgium.
Number one, the biggest beer company in the world is Anheuser-Busch AB InBev. It's the top beer producer in the world. It has over 200 unique brands, not just flavors. Like, I've got 20 flavors here, but they have 200 unique brands, and it's growing. But, they carry Budweiser, Bud Light, Beck's, Skol, Stella. It is based in Belgium right now and was originally founded by a soap salesman in the 1860s. 2002 is when Anheuser-Busch merged with InBev. So, we're now on 15 years removed from that. But it is the largest brewer in the world, producing over 18% of the world's beer.
And their merger with SAB Miller will make them even bigger, although those operations have to remain separate in the United States. More when Beer Untapped continues. Welcome back to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller as we talk corporate beer. In the craft beer world these days, discussions are often about the beer giants and how they continue to gobble up craft breweries. There seems to be a couple of camps, those who refuse to drink anything made by the major corporations and those who will drink it as long as it's good.
There's certainly, you don't make 18% of the market share by making beer bad, but it is definitely a mass-produced for a mass market beer. The same thing that I would say is that there's a certain Golden Arches restaurant that makes a whole lot of hamburgers in the United States, and those are fine. And the great thing about those, and much like the AB products, is that you can get the same thing all over. You can get it consistently. You can get it as expected. You can get it pretty inexpensively because of the volume. But does that hamburger or that beer represent the pinnacle of the style, and does that fit the culinary desires of every person that comes through? No, absolutely not, but it doesn't mean it's bad.
For Seth, there is something to be said for eating and drinking local.
I encourage people to try local beer, just as I encourage people to try local restaurants. If you're going to travel and you're going to try to experience the local culture, if you end up in Kansas City, find a mom and pop Kansas City barbecue joint. You know, if you're going out to Maine, try some of the fresh caught, day caught lobster. You know, if you're going down to the Southwest, make sure you get mom and dad's chilies or, you know, some red chilies and experience the culture through the culinary experience. Same thing when you come to Brookings or any place else, whether it be Sioux Falls or, you know, any Minnesota. Make sure you give a go to the local breweries, the local food places. Those big beers will exist and they will continue to make big beer. That's okay. But I don't think it truly covers every possible aspect of the industry, and I would encourage people to get out and try some of the smaller stuff.
And while there may be some 5,000 craft breweries and brew pubs in the U.S., they make a relatively small amount of the beer. And in South Dakota, as we top 20 craft breweries now, it still accounts for a pretty small amount of the beer consumed in the state.
If you were to take a string and draw from the Minnesota border and pull it all the way to the Wyoming border, and that represented all the beer that
all the way across South Dakota.
All the way that it was consumed in South Dakota, Wooden Legs Brewing Company would be about a 30-inch doorway. It would be about the size of a closet door on that string. So it is such a sweet, and that's just us. And, you know, if you added all of the craft brewers together, we might stretch half a football field. Whereas AB would get you
to about Mitchell, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say Mitchell or Huron is how far that you would run before you'd run out of string.
All right, let's celebrate local beer. Lots of great events at Wooden Legs this week as they mark their 4th anniversary in American Craft Beer Week. Check out their Facebook page. And Seth says you should consider becoming a Tap Handle member.
This happens to be, you know, a Craft Beer Week. What we do is we have a membership club that renews this week, and it does actually every year. You get a Tap Handle Club coin. We call it the Tap Handle Club. You get a special card. You get access to some of our behind-the-scenes content. And maybe what people probably find the most rewarding through the year is that you get $1 off any of our house-made beers anytime. Also $1 off growler fills with no limitation. So come on in. The membership this year, and we only have 150 open. And, of course, if people have been members before, they get a chance to renew their membership. But there's 150 slots. The slot for a full year is $65, but it is actually really cool because it does offer some behind-the-scenes stuff. It's some kind of early notice on some of our events. We have some events that really, because of the limited seating, are really only open to Tap Handle Club members. Come on down. Tell the bartenders you're looking for one. You fill out a card. As I said, it's $65 for the year. It starts right now, and you can start using those membership benefits right now, immediately.
That's it for this week's show. Until next time, drink local and drink responsibly. Thank you for listening to this archived edition of Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Feel free to listen to other episodes, and if there's anything you'd like us to talk about on a future show, please let us know. Thanks again.